Congratulations on this movie. It is quite the interesting watch. I wasn't expecting a lot of what happened in this movie. Uh, what caught your attention about this project and what made you want to be part of this?
I thought that the book was so lyrical and gentle and beautiful in a way that we hadn't seen before with Latino stories. And I think that was something that really spoke to me in a real way that made it undeniable that I had to sort of be the person that brought this story to life, because I think often our stories are reduced to such a trope or such a stereotype,
Mhm.
often violent, that I wanted to give us an alternative and a sort of another option that we don't often see.
Definitely. I think gentle is a very good word to describe this. I think the sexuality in the characters don't really matter as much as the journey to self-acceptance that they have. Um, how difficult is it to bring a story like that to life?
I think it was that I never wanted to reduce the characters to like their simple identity. Like often what like motivates me is to sort of step out of stories about identity that are exclusively about that. I think it informs our perspective, but it isn't our whole story. So to me, it was like, what are the other aspects of these people's lives? How do they find joy? Where is the love outside of like what we often reduce these characters to? And like that's how I live my life. I never want to other myself. I never want to other the characters that I'm sort of bringing to life. So that to me was a no-brainer of like, what else is about these characters that informs their journey versus like, oh, they're just this simple thing, because that's too easy. And I never want to work on a project like that.
Definitely, and these young actors did so well, but the supporting cast around them, the older people, I think,
The older people.
yeah,
Veronica Falcone would not like to hear that.
uh, I think their reaction and the way they relate to these characters is really important. How important was it to get this cast? Because it seems like everybody treated the subject matter very kindly, very well.
Yeah, I think it was also that it was like, what's universal about these people, without reducing any of them to class, to generation, to age. It was like, what's the sort of universal thing about this story, and what's the foundation of this story is love. That love may look different. The way we show that love may look different. The way that we receive that love may look different, but it's all rooted in love. And I think that that's really palpable on screen, especially with the more sort of veteran actors that are in the movie, that really brought in to support these two young actors that were being so vulnerable and giving so much of themselves to it, that I think it's just that was the guiding sort of light, right? Which was love, and that sort of allowed us to kind of color that however we saw fit within the story.
Definitely, and with so much going on with the LGBTQ community, uh, I think the best part about this movie is self acceptance. They throughout the entire thing, both of these main characters are looking to to find out about themselves. Centering on that, how do you bring that out in these from these actors because they did a fantastic job in portraying this.
I think that they both showed up. Everybody really showed up with a lot of love for the characters that they were playing, a lot of love for me, and a lot of love for the story, right? So they were so passionate about doing exactly that, of how do I show the pain of not realizing who you are, but really wanting to unlock that. And I think our environment has a lot to do with that. So we really like talked a lot about what that looks like, but ultimately what it was building trust amongst the three of us to allow these two boys to sort of be as vulnerable as possible on screen. And I think that that's what people are responding to in such a visceral way, is that they really just came in as authentic and vulnerable, to sort of connect with the audience in the way that they are.
What kind of conversations did you have with this young cast? Because, like you said, they had to be very vulnerable. in front of the cameras, and I'm pretty sure that even as an actor, that's a very daunting task to have.
Yeah, I think it was always talking about like the stuff we don't see on screen, how we could sort of like, what are the tools that we have that they could access to show the development of these characters and that the arcs that they go through, like how do you use your body? So it was always like really playful in the preparation. We didn't have a lot of time to play while we were on set. We were actually looking for bloopers and there isn't any because we were so like we were shooting 7 to 8 pages a day, so there wasn't a lot of time to sort of like explore things, but we did before we got to set, and I think that that was so foundational. I come from a theater background, so I think I brought a lot of that in having like conversations on how to, you know, do character development. And I think that allowed them to sort of bring a full life to the roles, and also their own life where they were like, they felt prepared. They had like built out these boys' stories in a way that was they had access to a lot of information at any given moment.
And having had a book to go off of, did you try to stick to the book as much as possible, or how did you bring your own spin to this story?
That was probably the biggest challenge, was like letting go, because I was such a fan of the book and I thought the book was so good, but I also really wanted to honor it, and I didn't want to be one of those adaptations that veers too far away from it, because I think that's where they fail. So yes, a lot of it is very true to this book, even if it looks different because it is a different medium. So allowing myself to explore that and to give myself permission to bring in my own experiences, to sort of like, you know, do this whole beautiful like melding of like the, you know, the book and my own life, made for what it is now. But that was really difficult because I'm such a fan that I didn't want to like, you know, completely discard it, but I think I honored it, at least the spirit of it.
I think you did. It was very beautifully done.
Thank,
Congratulations on this.
thank you so much.